nyabagam modude manam yengude. Many people said was that I sound like a male version of my mother.
Oh my god.
And the lyrics were also written by my mother. She wrote it in the ICU. ஒரு முறை என் பிழை மறந்து நீ வந்திடு. And I spent all my time with Amma and we would sing together all the time, practice. And she's also very, like, she's my best friend. She's a huge inspiration. Kekrappo and the lyrics, it can mean something to me. It can mean something completely different to you. And in the movie, it means something else. In the படத்துக்கு fulla Vineeth's approach was a little different. He didn't want songs that necessarily get hits. Songs that have a shelf life, will remain for a while.
Forever. This was a very big hit in Kerala.
I really didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I had no clue.
How?
தங்கமணி ரத்தினமே തലയാട്ടും ചിത്തിരമേ.
Varshangalkku Sesham compose ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ you were having a tough time, right?
Yeah. I think Vineeth has been an incredible friend and great support through that time, because especially when I was in the hospital with my mom, பேசுவோம் நிறைய life பத்தி படத்தை பத்தி. We composed a lot then. I would keep sending him a lot of things during that time. So he really became someone quite close to me during especially that time. I really like Sushan Sham. Romanjam was, I think, one of my favorite albums.
ഇന്നത്തെ youngsters, composers-നൊക്കെ വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ you have a different approach to music.
Most of my songs are very melody driven. I don't know why I'm doing it that way. It's just what works for me, I guess. You know? I also really enjoyed recording Karagana because I recorded Divya and Vineeth together. It was a very cute time. பெரியோனே என் ரஹ்மானே பெரியோனே ரஹீம்.
Hi Amrit.
Hi Shruti.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much
First
for
of
having
all,
me.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Movie is a huge hit. ഈ പാട്ട് has taken the movie to another level.
Oh, thank you
And
so
all
much.
the songs in it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
all credits to you.
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
So ஒரு 2 lines ஞாபகம் வச்சு நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம். How is it?
ஒரு முறை என் பிழை மறந்து நீ வந்திடு, உனை பிரிந்தேங்கிறேன் வந்திடு. ஒரு முறை என் பிழை மறந்து நீ வந்திடு, இன்று நான் கேட்கிறேன் வந்திடு. ஞாபகம் மோதுதே மனம் ஏங்குதே, ஞாபகம் வருகுதே உள் தவிக்குதே, ஞாபகம் மோதுதே மனம் ஏங்குதே.
Oh my god, goosebumps. ഈ പാട്ടിന് കിട്ടിയ ഒരു ഏറ്റവും സർപ്രൈസിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കോംപ്ലിമെന്റ് എന്തായിരുന്നു?
One thing that many people said was that I sound like a male version of my mother.
Oh my god.
And first I was like, அந்த காம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் வெச்சு நான் என்ன பண்றது, like how do I take it? But I think it's like it's an honor to sound like a male version of my mother.
So ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ സോങ്ങില് ഞാൻ വിനീതന്റെ ഒരു ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ കേട്ടു. He was saying, I told Amrit, എനിക്കൊരു ട്രെൻഡിങ് സോങ് വേണ്ട, എനിക്കൊരു ലാസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സോങ് ആണ് വേണ്ടത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സോങ്സ് ആണ് വേണ്ടത്. How did that information or how did that data like really helped you?
In the படத்துக்கு fulla Vineeth's approach was a little different. He didn't want to work with he didn't want to create, like you said, songs that necessarily get hits or get numbers. He wanted to create songs that have a shelf life. You know, like when we listen to old songs like MS Baburaj or Pushpam or any of those songs, even old Hindi songs, summer songs, they have a certain aspect that will remain for a while.
Forever.
But actually he didn't really tell me that. Like he conveyed it to me without telling me in words. Because if he had told me that, I think it would have been I don't know how I would have taken that information, because then I'll overthink everything I create.
Right.
So I think the fact that he chose to work with me is because I create very melody driven music, and for me that's what inspires me.
Right.
And yeah, I mean it worked out.
You have a different approach to music. Like ഇന്നത്തെ youngsters, composers-നൊക്കെ വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ why is that and how do you do that?
I mean, I don't know, more than different, I think the more conventional kind of music today is very electronic.
Right.
Or I really like that kind of music as well. I'm a big fan of people who make electronic music well. But I think from when I was small, I've been exposed to a certain kind of music, and that's what I aspire to create. The kind of music that I want to hear, which I feel is not as conventional today. இப்போ வந்து live instruments அவ்வளோ யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டா, or melody heavy music அவ்வளோ compose பண்ண மாட்டா. So those are the kind of things, even when I sing, those are the kind of melodies that I want to create. So this movie and Vineeth, who's like been incredible to work with, he's given me the opportunity to do that. And even with my independent work, I try to really do that, you know. Most of my songs are very melody driven, so I don't know why I'm doing it that way. It's just what works for me, I guess, you know. So,
അമ്മയായിരിക്കും അതിനൊരു ഭയങ്കര ഒരു ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's a huge inspiration because na college போல actually na school க்கு அப்புறம் வீட்ல I took a gap year and I was just at home and I spent all my time with amma and we would sing together all the time, practice, and she's also very like she's my best friend, and she's also my mentor, so it works out, you know. Madri, I'm always inspired by everything she's done with her music. So.
കോളേജിൽ പോയിട്ടില്ലാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, like do you feel you missed out on some fun?
Yeah, I mean, first வந்து அந்த gap year எடுக்கச்ச I was like சரி நிச்சயமா college போகணும், because college gives you a social group of people that you know you can, and that's very important. And I don't think it's a good advice to say don't go to college, for example. But I think the kind of work that I want to do with my art, it's such that it's really demanding time wise, at least. So at that point it just felt right to not go to college, because I needed to spend all my time with music. But obviously there were days where I was like, you know, I wish I could go to college, and it's nice to have a social group and everything, but I did make really close friends, so it manages.
Amrit's decision ആയിരുന്നു completely. You
Yeah,
took the decision.
it was a decision that I took, and my parents backed me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What was your first reaction? ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ കോളേജിൽ പോകുന്നില്ല, ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ഫുൾ ടൈം മ്യൂസിക് എടുക്കുവാണെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് റിയാക്ഷൻ എന്തായിരുന്നു?
So இது எப்படி ஆச்சுன்னா, நான் 12th grade க்கு அப்புறம் I said எனக்கு full time music தான் எடுக்கணும். And both my parents, they are very supportive of all my what I want to do, but the thing is you have to really push yourself, you have to really work hard and have the discipline to, because especially with arts, where it's இப்போ காலேஜ் போனால் ஒரு இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் தானே, அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷனலைஸ் ஜாப் கிடைக்கும், 9 to 5 or whatever it is. That's a fixed structure, so you can't really mess around with that. But here you are self-employed, you self-regulate, so they wanted to make sure that I'm willing to do that more than whether I'm capable or not. So they were like, okay, you try to do it first. அந்த gap year la உனக்கு முடியும்னா you'll be confident. By the end of the gap year, you'll know if you want to do it or not.
Right.
So the gap year was like my test, for myself, that I gave, and my parents. So, and then it went well, and then after that I think they were also confident that I will work hard. But I mean, I've just been doing this for a while, so I'm happy that this has come through, you know, the film and everything.
ഈ ഇൻഡിപെൻഡന്റ് മ്യൂസിക് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് ഇപ്പം എത്ര നാളായി?
I started doing independent music from like the end of schooling, madri 11th 12th, but I never did anything with it, because I didn't produce then, like I didn't compose, produce, arrange music. I used to sing a lot of my own songs, and I used to compose for amma, like even Carnatic stuff, like Carnatic compositions. If she would sing, there'll be small things like chittaswarams, no, there's something which is like in between a composition there'll be a set of notes that they sing, so I used to compose all that for her just for fun. So that kind of like kept growing and growing, and then we started composing together. And then I think after my gap year I started like meddling around with production. I used to like try to learn stuff myself, and so yeah, I've been but properly I think I put out independent music only in 2020.
2020?
Yeah, so till then I didn't really put anything out. Maybe 2019 or 2020, I don't remember.
But around that time?
Yeah, around that time.
So what was the first song? അമ്മയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടി കമ്പോസ് ചെയ്ത ഫസ്റ്റ് സോങ് ഏതായിരുന്നു?
First theriyadu, but we did an album together, Amma and I. It's called Moonchild.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a series of 7 lullabies. Out of those 7, I think 4 or something I composed.
Right.
And one she tuned, and then this other person also. That was, I think, the first piece of work that we worked on together.
അതിൽ ഒരു ഫേമസ് സോങ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ലൈക്ക് എല്ലാരും ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട്
തങ്കമണി രത്തിനമേ. Yeah. That song.
How about 2 lines?
Yeah. തങ്കമണി രത്തിനമേ തലയാട്ടും ചിത്തിരമേ, തങ്കമണി രത്തിനമേ തലയാട്ടും ചിത്തിരമേ, സിംഗാര തൊട്ടിൽ കട്ടി സീരാട്ട നീ ഉറങ്ങ്, സിംഗാര തൊട്ടിൽ കട്ടി സീരാട്ട നീ ഉറങ്ങ്, തങ്കമണി രത്തിനമേ തലയാട്ടും ചിത്തിരമേ.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wonderful. This song ഞാൻ കുറേ follow ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. Like I think this was a very big hit in Kerala.
Yeah,
ഇവിടെ
I
എല്ലാവരും
believe so. I mean, recently I met somebody who told me. I really didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I had no clue.
അതെന്താ so ഈ you were not very often here in Kerala അല്ലേ?
That's true, Amma. I've been here a lot only this past 1 year.
Right.
But I really didn't know.
Well, it's such a special song for a lot of people.
Oh yeah. That's really endearing.
Right. ഈ songs ഈ മൂവിയിൽ വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം കമ്പോസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പം you were having a tough time, right?
Yeah.
So normally I heard you talking about in many interviews, but normally 24-year boy like you അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ഒരു ഏജ് ഗ്രൂപ്പിലുള്ള ഒരു ടീനേജർ ഓർ യങ്സ്റ്റർ ആരായാലും they would break down in such situations. I don't know how much ഒരു ക്രിയേറ്റീവ് പ്രോസസ്സിലൂടെ പുഷ് ചെയ്ത് അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ടഫ് ടൈമിൽ കൂടി വരാനായിട്ട് എത്രത്തോളം പറ്റുമെന്ന് I don't know. How did you do it?
I think I had all the conventional reactions that one would have for sure. There were moments where I was also, my emotions were, I was very overwhelmed with the situation, but I think I was able to create because that was also my way of kind of expressing what I was feeling in that time. And also that's what I guess I know to do best, right? Because like whatever it is, I'm a student of music, so I was able to do that for my mother also because I was with her. And I think Vineeth has been an incredible friend and great support through that time because Varshangalkku became like my outlet. I used to create and feel a lot better about everything, and it was occupying my time over there as well. So Vineeth oda nariya pesina night fulla, especially when I was in the hospital with my mom, I would tend to her sometimes during the day, and at night I would speak to Vineeth and pesuvom nariya life pati padatha pati. We composed a lot then, and I would keep sending him a lot of things during that time. So he really became someone quite close to me during especially that time.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like when you are, I mean, nobody should ever be in that situation, but when you are finally put in that situation, you will figure out how to
Endure it.
Come
out of it.
Yeah, it's nothing special or great that I did. I think anybody will be able to do it in that situation.
So ആ ഒരു സമയത്ത് whatever you were feeling, you let it out through the music.
Somewhat, yeah.
So അങ്ങനെ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ഈ മൂവിയിലെ സോങ്സിൽ which one do you think is like so much close to you in that sense?
Nyabagam.
Nyabagam?
Yeah, because Nyabagam, I'm sure you've seen the movie, but I'm not going to spoil it for others. But it holds a significant place in the film.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, it's a Tamil song, and the lyrics were also written by my mother. She wrote it in the ICU. So, I mean, all those layers add to the specialty, and also the fact that Vineeth wanted my mom to write it when she was going through what she was going through was also telling of both the significance in the padam and also what it ended up becoming for us, especially for my family, because the meaning of the song is also very relevant, and it's a kind of song. I remember somebody was telling me the other day that kekrappo on the lyrics, it can mean something to me, it can mean something completely different to you, and in the movie it means something else. So it's just about memories and yearning for a friend or whoever, a lover or anything, you know. So the fact that it had that appeal to it made me it reminded me of everything that we were overcoming this year. So that's why it's the most special song for me in the album. So definitely it's my favorite, but I think a close second and third would, like, Jeevitha Gadagale is a special song for me because it was the most inspiring process in the album. Recording Chitra Chechi, then I recorded the Budapest Orchestra. So it was a very elaborate song. I also really enjoyed recording Karagana because I recorded Divya and Vineeth together. It was a very cute time.
Right. So Jeevitha Gadagale oru rendu line paadam.
Yeah, of course. Ravili ravil neelamelapil neeram pududeeram madhumaya sukhalahari karnikarangal ഇനി എൻ്റെ മോഹങ്ങൾ കാലം ചിരകാലം നിറയുമറിയ താളം നടവഴികളിലേതോ ദരരരരരാധാ നാളമായി തരരാര ജീവിതഗാഥകളെ പോരുകൈ വഴിയേ തേടുക ഭാസുരമാം നാളെ ഇതായി വിടെ.
Wonderful.
Apologies for the
Wonderful.
pronunciation if I...
No, but you're doing so well.
Okay.
ഇപ്പം ഈ സോങ്സ് ഒക്കെ കമ്പോസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് യുവർ അമ്മ ഇസ് എ ബിഗ് ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ ബട്ട് അമ്മ അല്ലാതെ ഫ്രോം ദി ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഹു ഡു യു ലുക്ക് അപ്പ് ടു ആസ് എ കമ്പോസർ?
Musicians in general, I really like seek inspiration from musicians.
ഐഡിയലൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ? ലൈക്ക് യു ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ബി ലൈക്ക് ഹിം.
I think different aspects of all the composers today. I mean, Shankar Esanloy, A.R. Rahman, Sesham is somebody I absolutely adore.
Which is one of your favorite songs of Seshan?
Oh my god, that's really hard to answer.
Correct.
Yeah, I absolutely love all his stuff. I loved Kudandram from this album.
Oh.
Nebulagal. This album, of course, was great, but Romanjam was, I think, one of my favorite albums.
Favorite.
All in all, yeah. Manuja, I'm a huge Rex Vijayan fan. So
Okay.
Manuja was beautiful because he's also a part of it. All of them, I mean, Atma Vaipo. And before Romanjam, Kumbalangi Nights.
Right.
Malik Tirame is one of my favorite songs because it's very different from a lot of the other songs he does. Kumbalangi Nights, of course, Cheradagal. That film was spectacular.
Yeah.
I really like, Sushan Sham. All composers, I think there are so many composers I really look up to. A.R. Rahman sir, of course. Shankar Esanloy. I think each one brings something to the film, right, that they work on.
Right.
And those are things that I take inspiration from sometimes when I'm looking at the larger picture of what I can try to do with the film. But there's a lot of inspiration I look at from even outside the country. Like there's a composer called Ludwig Göransson. He did Oppenheimer, the movie that just released. I honestly think it's one of the greatest soundtracks.
So Varshangalkku Sheshathinu, did you take reference from somewhere?
No. I mean, I didn't really take reference from any place because at the end of the day, we're always taking ideas from everywhere, right?
Right.
Implicitly. But specifically, I didn't listen to something and say, I want to achieve that. But I think Vineeth and I really spoke about the kind of sound we want to create for the album. But no, we didn't really specifically take anything from it. Yeah, no.
But Vineeth was saying about some a period, right?
Yeah, so 70s, yeah.
Yeah,
so I mean that I think that period was very inspiring. So we were obviously listening to a lot of music that made us feel of around that time.
Around that, yeah.
So so for example, strings is a very heavy aspect in the movie because it really conveys the emotion of that time. It also conveys the emotion of the story, and there's a lot of emotion that is in especially the first half of the movie.
Right.
So we kind of I mean, the visuals also helped me bring out the kind of sound that the movie needed. So,
right. But it's surprising that നമ്മുടെ ഏജിലുള്ള ഒരാൾക്ക് like to tune in back to that time. Is it easy or is it
for me actually it was not difficult only because I've grown up listening to so much music from generations before me. Like I grew up listening to Hindi music from the 60s and 70s to the 90s, right? I know pretty much all the songs from that time because my father and mother are obsessed with old Hindi music. Like I've grown up with so much of it. Old Hindi music, old Bengali music, some old Tamil music, some Malayalam, but mainly Hindi. I think I've had the exposure, and also I've grown up listening to a lot of ghazals, Qawwali music, just old Indian classical music also. So I think my palette, the sound that I feel most connected to is music from the 60s, 70s, even today. Even if you look at my Spotify, my most played composer probably be Madan Mohan, who is probably from like the 70s. He passed away well before I was born, you know. So yeah, so so I guess for me going back to that era was something that was actually exciting, not challenging, because I finally had an opportunity to try and do it. So
wonderful. So ghazals nu parnille, you sing often?
Yeah, I sing.
Oru very interesting. So can we listen to one piece of yours? Yeah.
Not my ghazal. I'll sing the popularized. Ranjishi sahi, dil hi dukhane ke liye ranjishi sahi, dil hi dukhane के लिए रंजिशी सही, आ फिर से मुझे छोड़ के जाने के लिए रंजिशी सही, आ फिर से मुझे छोड़ के जाने के लिए रंजिशी सही.
Wow.
Thank you.
എല്ലാവരുടെയും ഹാർട്ടിനുള്ളിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ കേറുന്നൊരു സാധനമാണ്. വെരി നൈസ്, വെരി നൈസ്.
Thank you.
So this is your thing, അല്ലേ? Like you listen and you train so much in ghazal?
I've trained so much, no, but I've listened to it from when I was like 5 or 4. Like Mehdi Hasan Saab, if there's one musician I wish I could go meet and just take their like wishes and blessings, is Mehdi Hasan. He died. I was too young to have ever had the opportunity. But I think his music really somewhere connects with me. Like I've always taken inspiration from his music. So I've sung so much of his music just for my pleasure. And my mother has sung so much of his music. My father also.
Right.
My extended family worship him. So I think... no, I've not trained in ghazals to answer your question, but I have a deep passion for it. And I believe Kerala, I mean, I've heard so many, there's so much ghazal music influence in Kerala, which is something that is so beautiful, I've found.
Right.
And I've recently heard a few musicians who have been singing ghazal music, and it's just so phenomenal.
Right.
It made me so happy.
So would you tap into it in your future works, like any
100%,
roller movies?
if I get an opportunity.
Definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful.